You think male value and female value work the same way. They don't. And by the time most women figure this out, the math has already turned against them. Here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to say out loud, but everyone already knows. Women in their early 20s are at peak sexual market value. Youth, beauty, fertility. These things matter whether we pretend they don't or not. A 23-year-old woman with decent looks can walk into almost any room and command attention. She has options. Lots of them. Men of all ages interested. Multiple offers. The world feels like it revolves around her choices. But here's what she doesn't realize while she's living in that moment. Her value in the sexual marketplace is front-loaded. It peaks early, stays high for a window, then declines. Not because women become worthless. Not because older women aren't valuable. But because the specific factors that drive initial male attraction, youth, and physical beauty, are time-sensitive assets. Male value works the opposite way. A 23-year-old guy is usually broke, uncertain, still figuring out his career, his identity, his direction. He's at the bottom of his potential. Yes, some women will date him, but he's not the prize. He's not the guy women compete for. He's invisible to most women his age who are busy dating older guys with cars and careers. But that same man at 35, if he's done the work, is a completely different commodity. He's built a career. He's got resources. He's got status. He's got experience and confidence that only comes from surviving failure. He's physically still in his prime if he takes care of himself. He knows who he is and what he wants. And now, suddenly, he has options. Lots of them. Women in their 20s interested. Women his age interested. He's the prize now. This is where the math gets uncomfortable. While women's sexual market value declines with age, men's sexual market value increases with age, assuming he builds himself. The 35-year-old successful man has access to women from 25 to 45 to 45. The 35-year-old woman is competing primarily for men 35 to 50, many of whom are now looking at younger women because they finally can. Here's what happens in real time. The woman who spent her 20s ignoring the decent guys her age because they were broke and boring. The woman who dated up, always choosing older men with status and money. She hits 35. And suddenly the game feels different. The same older successful men she's attracted to are now looking at 25-year-olds. The guys her age who she rejected a decade ago. They're now the successful men dating younger women. They remember being invisible. They don't forget. This isn't about blame. This is about math. This is about supply, demand, and time-sensitive value. The woman who had 100 options at 23 has 20 options at 33. The man who had 5 options at 23 has 50 options at 33. The dynamic flips completely. The dynamic flips completely. And this is why you see the panic. Modern women in their 30s suddenly discovering that the high-value men they want are rare, are taken, or choosing younger women. They spent their peak years dating casually, prioritizing career, assuming the options would always be there. They were told age is just a number. They were told men their age would be waiting. Some are, but the best ones aren't. The brutal truth is this. The men who became high value didn't do it to impress the women who rejected them at 23. They did it for themselves. And when they finally arrive at the top of their game, they have zero obligation to choose the women who wouldn't give them the time of day when they were building. They choose younger. They choose women who see their value now, not women who ignored them then. Women are told they can have it all: career, travel, self-discovery, and then settle down when they're ready. Technically true. But nobody mentions that the quality of available men declines significantly while you wait. The 35-year-old high-value man you want is now dating 27-year-olds. The 35-year-old men still available are often available for a reason. Here's where women discover the truth too late. Male value isn't about looks. It's about status, resources, competence, and leadership. These things take time to build. The awkward 24-year-old software engineer she swiped left on is the 34-year-old senior director. She now can't get to respond to her messages. He's not angry. He's just got options now. Younger, prettier options who didn't need him to be rich to pay attention. And this creates the resentment you see in modern dating discourse. Women frustrated that men their age want younger women. Men frustrated that the women who rejected them for a decade suddenly want them now that they're successful. Both sides feeling cheated by a game nobody explained honestly. The reality is that sexual market value follows different timelines for men and women. Women's value is highest early and declines unless maintained through exceptional fitness and femininity. Men's value is lowest early and increases dramatically if they build wealth, status, and purpose. By 35, the tables have turned completely. This is why the advice women receive is so damaging. Prioritize your career in your 20s. Don't settle. Date casually. You have time. The right guy will come along when you're ready. All technically possible. But the quality of that right guy at 35 is statistically lower than the quality of the right guy you could have locked down at 25 when you had maximum leverage. The high-value men women want at 35 are the men who spent their 20s building while being rejected. They're not bitter. They're just exercising the same selectivity women had a decade earlier. They're choosing youth and beauty because they finally can. They're choosing women who wanted them before the money, or they're choosing women young enough that the question doesn't matter. Here's the question nobody wants to ask. If you rejected decent men at 23 because they weren't rich or exciting, why would those same men choose you at 33 when they're finally rich and you're no longer 23? What loyalty do they owe? What incentive do they have? The brutal answer is none. Men build value in solitude. They get rejected, ignored, overlooked while they're grinding. They finally emerge successful, and the same women who rejected them suddenly reappear with interest. But by then, he's learned that her interest is transactional. She didn't want him. She wants what he became. And younger women want that too, except they come without the baggage of having rejected him before. This is the truth women discover too late. Male value isn't static. It compounds. The longer you wait to lock down a high-value man, the more competition you face from younger women, and the fewer high-value men remain available. The window closes. Not because women become worthless, but because the men worth having get taken or become so selective that average interest isn't enough. So what does this mean practically? It means women who understand sexual market dynamics make different choices. They recognize that their 20s are their highest leverage period. They choose men based on character, work ethic, and trajectory, not current income. They lock in a good man early while he's still building, and they build with him. They don't wait until 34 to get serious about relationships. They don't waste their peak years on men who won't commit. And it means men who understand this dynamic stop chasing validation from women during their broke years. They focus on building wealth, status, and competence. They understand that their value increases with time. They don't marry the first woman who shows interest. They build first, choose later. They recognize that the game favors them long-term if they do the work. The uncomfortable truth is that modern dating advice ignores biology, ignores market dynamics, and sets women up for disappointment. You can't have it all on your timeline. The men you want at 35 don't need to wait for you. They have options you didn't give them at 25. This isn't cruelty. This is consequence. Here's my question for you. Do you think men are wrong for choosing younger women once they become high value? Or is this just the natural result of how sexual market value works over time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more content that breaks down modern relationship dynamics without sugarcoating reality, hit subscribe. The truth doesn't care about your feelings, but understanding it gives you better choices.